Okay, good morning, good morning, good morning. This is going to be the cons to doing the life of doing Instacart. So I did promise you all ever since yesterday, and I'm upholding my end of the bargain today of giving you the pros and cons. But this is the con portion of doing Instacart. Okay, so the con part is it is a job that you can work yourself. You can set your own hours. They have changed the platform a lot since I initially started. It used to be similar to how DoorDash used to run, where you would have to sign up for a block. And within that block, just like Uber as well or Lyft, they would send orders out to you, and you would have to either intercept it, and of course, by not intercepting it, it could affect what they call your acceptance rate. This platform is ran a lot differently now because they did take that part of it out. You no longer have to sign up for a block. You normally just log on to the platform, and it will show you what batches are available in your area. And just a word of advice, the cons are to it is the batches are not always the best. I've had to learn to intercept lower batches just because of the simple fact that it's only a handful of items they're wanting you to shop, and it may not be going far, so you want to make a bang for your buck. I always say that if the mileage is more than the payout, then it's not worth you doing, especially with gas costing the way it does now. So just take that as a word of advice. The con is Instacart has done a lot of double and triple batches in order for you to make a certain amount, and sometimes it's not even worth the payout. If you see where it's going to consume a lot of your time and the mileage is not equaling up to what they're paying out for the cost of the batch, I advise not to do it, because you could do a smaller batch that's paying out less and be done with doing that order, and it frees you up to going ahead and being able to possibly take in another order, when you spend all of that time on a batch that's making you do triple the work, and the distance to doing everything may not weigh out in the end. So it's just about using common sense with this. Also, you do get people that can sometimes take advantage of the platform, and I've seen it happen, and I've called immediately to have them reported so that their account is either blocked or there's some repercussions on the side of them trying to scam. You have to be careful with that. Also, some of the places that you are delivering to may not always be the safest areas. For your safety, if you see anything that is going on that is could potentially put your life in danger, please reach out to support and let them know. Sometimes the size of the batch, you don't always get what you should as far as the pay. So what I mean, I'll give you a plain example. I had a batch last week that paid out $28. This specific batch was a one-person batch. However, because Instacart is now not allowing us to see where we're delivering it to, it was to an apartment complex. The person lived on the 8th floor. I kind of looked up on this order, but initially it wasn't a good idea because the person did order 53 items. Some of the items were heavy in weight, where it was like, I think they had milk, which is a gallon size thing of milk. They had a watermelon, a cantaloupe, and I'm trying to think what else it was. It was something else heavy. It might have been either soda or a case of water included in that batch. And we're talking about on the 8th floor. The 8th floor, guys. So I instantly called Instacart once I got done with the order and was en route to delivering it. And I voiced my concerns on that order and whether or not it qualified for heavy pay. And I was told that it didn't. And we had some words back and forth in a positive way about some improvements, because they do strive on the shoppers' feedback just as well as customers' feedback on what's going on. So I wanted to make sure that my voice was heard, that that they do need to pay some type of incentive when you are having to go to apartment complexes or someone that lives on a higher level floor, because again, that is taking time away from where we were supposed to possibly could be doing another order. Yeah, but I did look up, because this particular apartment, they did have an elevator, and they also had courtesy carts to where I could put the items on the cart and take it up in one shot, instead of having to make multiple trips back and forth to dropping the items off. The customer was very prompt when I knocked on her door. She was a very sweet lady, and she had the cutest little dog. But it doesn't always work out like that. And she did look out for me too, because she realized once I got there how much stuff she actually ordered. She didn't even realize it was that much. But like I said, I still treated her with kindness. I wasn't mean. I wasn't rude, because everybody, is paying you at this point, and you should be professional. Also, this is not a app that I would say that is all the way family access. If you do have small children, I have seen people doing Instacart with small children, but y'all got to think about it. It is your job, so you can get distracted and caught up with tending to your children and not paying attention to the person's order. And if you're doing like a double batch or something, stuff can get mixed up. So just be mindful of that, because it is a platform, and Instacart can ban you off of the app, because you are supposed to be doing this as if you're by yourself. You're not supposed to have anybody with you. I think they had some complaints back during COVID, if I'm not mistaken, where either someone's house got robbed, or it was something that went on to why they don't like you to do Instacart with anyone. I myself, I have had, my boyfriend with me when I've done Instacart, especially if it's something heavy, and the customer tends to not have an issue with that, because again, if you're trying to get it to them in one shot, by all means do so. I am very selective of orders that I do pick, due to the fact that I am still dealing with a back injury. So with that being said, when I initially signed up on this platform, I was physically fit to be able to pick up 50 pounds or more, but of course I am not, and I do not pick up 50 pounds or more. If it is something that is indeed heavy, I will reach out to the customer to see if I could possibly get assistance with it. Like sometimes they might have a teenage son, husband, something to assist with it, and they understand. I haven't had any backlash or anything for them having to do that. And just batch availability with people using these bot services, they are scanning Instacart's database for batches, and they are picking those orders up with the people that are using third-party services to do Instacart on, and that's the disfortunate part of it. And it's just getting to the point where it's just not easy to find as doable orders. I can make it work for me. Like I said, I got lucky yesterday. I was able to end the day with close to $75 that I made for the day, which is pretty good. My ultimate goal normally is $100 a day. There's 5 days in a week, 7 days in a week. If you are able to make $100 every day, that's $700 that's in your pocket. And I've had luck to where, and I've actually had batches that were 75 or better just in the one batch. Just about 2 weeks ago, I had a batch that was $75, and it was going to one house. It was not multiple orders, so you get lucky sometimes on the platform. But this is basically the ending part of what I needed to say as far as the cons. If I think of anything else, I'll make an additional video. I hope the information was helpful to those that were interested in doing Instacart. So you got the pros and the cons of what it could be like, and certain experiences that I have experienced thus far doing Instacart. But until next time,